Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Dini and myself and the entire Palm Beach Synagogue, I want to wish each and every one of you Chag Sameach. May we all be inscribed and sealed in the book of life for a Shana Tova, for a good, happy, healthy year for us, our loved ones, for the Jewish people everywhere. And may we have an inspiring and uplifting Yom Kippur. This week's Torah portion is Hazinu. It's Moshe Rabbeinu's farewell address, his final song to the Jewish people on the last day of his life. And he begins with the words, Hazinu Hashemayim, lend ear, O heavens, V'sishma Aretz, and let the earth hear, Imre Fi, the words of our mouth. And our rabbis say that in this verse, Moshe is referred to as someone who is asking the heavens to lend an ear, which means he was more intimate with the heavens at this stage of his life. And only the earth should hear from a distance. And this actually parallels Psalm 90. Psalm 90 in the book of Tehillim is Tefillah LaMoshe, a prayer of Moses. And what does it say? Ish Elokem, a man of God. He was a man. He wasn't a deity. He wasn't a god. He was a human, but he was a godly person. He was between heaven and earth. He was not only attuned to the earth, but most importantly, attuned to heavenly voices, the voice on high. And that's what we do on Yom Kippur. We try to attain a higher spiritual status and elevation so we could be a little bit more in tune with the heavenly voices within ourselves and within the world than the earthly mundane. But if you look at Psalm 90, what does it say? Tefillah LaMoshe, a psalm of Moses, a prayer of Moses, a man of God. And he says, Elokim, God, Ata Yisalanu Ma'on. You have been our dwelling place from generation to generation. What Moses is saying is, we, God, are dwelling within your world, but not just within your world. Within you, you, God, are our dwelling place. Because the world is all godliness, it's all Hashem. So we are living within Hashem. But what's fascinating is that at the conclusion of the psalm, he concludes with the blessing he gave the Jewish people when they built the Mishkan. He says, V'hi noham Hashem Elokeinu aleinu. May the sweetness of God be upon us. And may God establish the work of our hands. Now what's fascinating is when he prays for the sweetness of God, the word Noam is the word Ma'on in reverse order, which means the opening and the closing of the psalm is the same word inverted. Ma'on, God is our dwelling, and if you read Ma'on backwards, it's Noam, sweetness. And what Moses is saying is, we are dwelling within you, God. But we're not always aware of that. We don't always feel God's presence all around us. What we're asking is your sweetness should be upon us. How do we feel that sweetness? When God is within ourselves. When we feel God inside of ourselves, then we achieve the sweetness. And that's the two bookends of Moses' prayer, and how appropriate that we should be reading Hazinu and the prayer of Moses, that we should feel that we are enveloped by God, we are in his dwelling, and at the same time we should feel his sweetness within each and every one of our lives. And that's what Yom Kippur is, to feel that inner bond, that connection, reveal our soul and the sweetness of our soul. It's a story that happened before Rosh Hashanah in Jerusalem. There was an organization in Jerusalem called Yedidim. Yedidim means friends. It's like a volunteer AAA service. If your car breaks down, you run out of gas, you have a problem, you call Yedidim, and they're on-call volunteers who come running and they help you out. So there was a guy from Yedidim. He parked illegally. He wasn't on a call. He just needed a parking space and he was parked illegally. The ticket guy who walks the streets of Jerusalem, gives out tickets, sees him parked illegal. And he sees there's a decal on the car that he's a member of Yedidim. And he puts a ticket on the car. The guy comes back, he sees the ticket. He opens it up, and this is what it says across the ticket. He says, please, fellow, next time, park legally. He says, but I don't have a heart to give a ticket to a guy who volunteers for Yedidim. And he says, and the main thing is, Aval HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we should love God. And then he says, I wish you and your family a Shana Tova. And I was thinking, this is what it means to feel the sweetness of God. Yeah, there's a guy who works on the street giving out tickets. But what's on his mind? Love for a fellow Jew, love for God, offering blessings to another person. That's what it means, that wherever you are in your dwelling, wherever you find yourself, you can feel the sweetness and the goodness of Hashem. And that's my blessing to each and every one of us, that when God comes on this Yom Kippur, He will notice the things we did illegally, things that we should not have done, we have transgressed. But God will say, I see you do so many good deeds. You're such a wonderful person. You have so much good that you want to share with the world. I'm not going to give you a ticket. I'm not going to give you a violation. I'm not going to cite you. I'm not going to give you a fine. I'm going to bless you with a sweet new year so you could carry on all the good deeds that you're doing. Gemar Chasima Tova. May we all be sealed for life together with the Jewish people everywhere. And may our hostages come home. And may Israel be safe and secure.